So, welcome everybody. We are here at the Bitcoin Cash Dev Con III final presentations. It looks like about 16 teams were working hard for the last 3 days at BCH Dev Con III. 72-hour nonstop hackathon. Really impressive. We've got a long list of projects built on Bitcoin Cash to present. And yeah, so this is for BCH Dev Con III, which has been run by Christian, Chris Troutner, Eleanor. Welcome, guys. What an amazing event.
Thanks, George. Yeah, we had some great teams. Some of the tech come out of this has just blown my mind. I mean, things that I never thought was possible, and things that just turned out needed someone to take initiative.
Outstanding. And how do you feel about the event, Christian?
Feel great about the event. It was a good opportunity to people to put the politics aside in Bitcoin Cash and just really build and learn together. And I actually learned a lot from all the presentations and working on the project. It was a lot of fun.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Super impressive. Also with us on the call are, let's see, a bunch of people. Jet, Stoyan, Raz Reed, Dream Trove, Jason Sherman, Roscoe is joining us, Tom Zander, Richard Brady, Jenny. All right, let me just make sure I'm inviting all these, adding all these people. Okay, so I think that, welcome everybody. I think we're going to get started with future nodes. Who's representing future nodes? Nobody? Okay, so who anybody here want to go first? Present your project?
Yeah, it's a good. I'm not sure what happened to the future nodes.
I think maybe just people need some more time to jump in or something. Like, because I just asked in the Discord what the link was because I hadn't seen it before. I just missed the announcement, I guess, but maybe other people also missed it. I don't know.
Huh. Okay.
Is Ellie on yet, George?
Sorry?
Is Ellie on the call?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Light Swarm, so they'd be the next project for Bitcoin Bay. Maybe they'll show up later. I know they were having some trouble uploading their video last night.
Well, you know what? We can jump into hedgie.cash. They were not able to appear live, and so they asked me to set this up for them.
Nice.
Hold on. Okay, so were you guys able to hear the audio from YouTube just then? You guys able to hear that?
Can't hear it.
No? Oh, but Chris
Oh,
said
yeah.
yes.
No, sorry, not the audio of the video.
Huh.
I think I've got access to
You have to select share computer audio when you click on screen share.
Okay, let me try that again. Aha, thanks, Christian. Oh, apparently it's got to install something. Okay, are you guys able to hear me? Okay, right. So this is hedgie.cash. Team members are from the Pitico team from the last SLP virtual hackathon. Andre, Nathan, Silas, and Morales. So here we go.
App. It's basically a there are three components. We have an oracle, a price oracle. We have a server, which is the order book. So it's a kind of custodial service. And we also have the web app, which is in React, and it's integrated with the bitcoin.com link. So as you can see here, I have the badger. I'm going to use it to create a new contract here. So the way it works is basically create a contract with just one part, and you have to wait until someone else matches your contract. So I'm going to create a hedge contract now. I'm going to set some parameters. There's a graph here for the USD in relation to BCH. Have those parameters set up here. Submit a new contract. Okay. Confirm. So I created a contract, and now it's showing up here. Okay, it's on the contract list. Now I need to wait until someone makes, the other part of the transaction, which is the long. Since I created the contract, that's the hedge part. Someone has to be my long, which is basically you're shorting the USD, the external asset, and you're longing BCH. And I hope I'm correct about that. Okay, and the other part is you can open up this app on bitcoin.com wallet. And that, as you can see, the contract that I created on my PC is showing up here because it's a server, so I can see all the contracts available. And I can see the parameters that are set for this contract, and I can take it. So I'm gonna take it, be the long part of this contract. Okay. Gonna send. Gonna confirm.
Right. So that was also Eleanor's joining us. So that was Hedgie.cash. That's pretty cool.
It is cool. So I talked to the Brazilian team. There was like 5 of them. They got a hotel room down there, and they just worked their butts off. So I was a little disappointed that the video was like a camera recording and not a screen share, because I think the graphics on their app were pretty impressive. And then, of course, they had the phone combination too. So I'm excited to play with that after the hackathon and dive in a little deeper, because I think there's a lot more there than was captured in the YouTube video.
So that could permit kind of on-chain stability solutions for Bitcoin Cash. Is that right?
Yeah, that's my understanding. It uses the AnyHedge contract platform. So what Andre was demoing there is that someone can take a long position and a short position on a futures contract, and so I think that's what he was showing is using the web interface to take one position and then using the phone to take the other position.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Is Future Nodes or Bitcoin Bay or Team Spice available?
I got the video from Bitcoin Bay.
Oh, okay. You want to go ahead and present it?
Yes, I'm going to share. Where is it? Here it is.
Bitcoin Bay's submission to the BCH Dev Con hackathon is a cash script contract designed to help with creating SLP Genesis and SLP Mint transactions. What we have here is a contract that essentially enforces the format of the SLP transactions pertaining to the Genesis function here. Unfortunately, the Genesis SLP function does not work exactly. There's some bugs with the required transaction hash outputs. equaling the hash that we're designating here. So what we're going to do instead is going to use the reclaim function as a substitute to simulate how the SLP genesis function here should work out. So let's just quickly jump into the JavaScript side of things. Here we have all the typical setup as well as all of the SLP metadata for the Genesis transaction. We're also going to keep track of the transactions that come out after the Genesis for the minting afterwards. Here we are going to need to track the UTXOs for the SLP transactions, especially for the minting part. So just keep that in mind. So right here, we're just going to start with the Genesis transaction here. So what we're doing is essentially writing manually the data into the operator for the Genesis transaction here. And we're going to send the token balance to the first line here and the mint baton to the second line here. So let's just try to run this script and see the transaction ID onto the block explorer afterwards. Alright, so we see the script finish executing, the transaction should be broadcasted, and we have a transaction ID right here. So now we're just going to take a look on the testnet block explorer and see if we can actually verify that this is a successful SLP Genesis transaction. So the block explorer is picking it up, and indeed it is a valid SLP Genesis transaction. We have all the right format, the token balance is set to the first transaction output, and the mint baton is set to the second transaction output. So now we're going to try creating a mint transaction from this, and keep in mind that the mint baton is at the position 2 of the VLs. We're just going to quickly enable the mint section here. And so with the mint section here, we need to also specify which UTXO we're actually going to spend this transaction from. So the from here, we have two. One is the mint vout, which we're finding through the mapping of all the transaction UTXOs, as well as a UTXO that has enough Satoshis to actually help us make this transaction go through. So once we have these two, we're just going to save and run this script very, very quickly. And after this finishes, we'll see how the UTXO or the transaction shows up on the block explorer. Alright, and now the mint transaction script has finished executing. We're going to again search up the transaction ID that we get out of this script and see if we actually get a valid SLP mint transaction out of this. So we can see here the block explorer does indeed pick up the mint transaction, and it is actually marked valid. So all of the format again is here, and the mint baton is laid out right there. I do have two other transactions that I'm not going to run the examples for due to time's sake. This is essentially a protocol that I came up with last year during F Waterloo. It's called FRP, or File Registry Protocol, and the whole idea here is to simulate how the SLP transactions work, but specifically for registering files. Here in this case, I'm using IPFS hashes to lay out what this transaction actually is. So the two transactions we have here are upload and updates, and I'm just going to show real quick on the block explorer what these transactions will kind of look like. It will have its own dedicated locat ID as well as all of the data relevant to it. This format is again very, very similar to the SLP transaction formats, so it would just be a matter of modifying the bitDB to actually pick these up. This is the update transaction, and it actually has the transaction ID of the upload transaction that we've just seen previously. So yeah, that's basically it. If you want to take a look at the FRP stuff, I do have the GitHub page for it. It's also linked into the main submission page. All right, thanks very much.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Man, I'm really excited about this project because the ability to generate SLP Genesis and Mint transactions from a cache script smart contract is pretty cool. There's like a very wide range of applications for that use case. In particular, like NFTs, being able to generate NFTs programmatically, like say a video game. You know, some event happens in a video game and it automatically generates a non-fungible token.
I think something else as well is that, you know, one thing where maybe ETH is somewhat ahead of SLP tokens is that you can have all these complex conditions inside token smart contracts. And by using like cache script with SLP minting, like you said, Chris, you can actually put some of those conditions on SLP minting. So you'll be able to like have time-based minting or other kinds of conditions. Like you can only mint to certain addresses, things like that. So you'll be able to like put much more interesting constraints on how tokens can be minted. So it can be like more trustless in a way. So that's very exciting to me as well.
So basically the idea here is it permits programmatic creation of SLP tokens. Have I understood correctly?
That's part of it. The other part is that, so typically how you would generate an SLP token at this point is you'd run your code on a computer, and like some one person would do that. But what this enables is like on the blockchain itself can just some automatic piece of code that gets triggered through a Bitcoin Cash transaction can just generate a new transaction or mint new tokens, or like generate a new token or mint new tokens just as a response to some other thing happening on the blockchain automatically.
Oh, okay. So somebody could, you know, like send some BCH to a certain address, or I don't know, put some certain amount something in an op return, and then that would trigger.
Yeah, or like
automatically sent.
Or like if you tied this in with like an oracle, you know, the event of a sports, like the event or the result of a sports event, like a betting match, could trigger the minting of a new token.
That is interesting. That is really interesting. All right. So let's see. Future nodes or Bitcoin? No. So that was that Bitcoin Bay?
That was Bitcoin Bay.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be good if I could edit the spreadsheet. So maybe we could mark them off. Team Spice or Kos?
I don't see Kos, but I watched his presentation. There is some cussing in it. Just be forewarned.
Oh, by the way, we have a question here from Emergent. Does anyone know if Hedgie has any on-chain contracts completed with the app?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard from the team. They worked so hard and then they all kind of passed out once the deadline hit, and I haven't heard from them since. So
yeah. Okay, yeah. So we've heard from Pitico and Bitcoin Bay. Anybody want to go? Want to go next?
Well, I can try and present on Kos's.
I'm ready.
Oh,
go right ahead.
Cool.
Welcome.
That helps me because Oh wait, we're gonna have an echo problem on too. I'm with Roscoe, so okay. So share screen. Yeah, you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Screen share. Cool. I'm just trying to work out how to share my whole screen. Oh, there you go. Sorry. Okay. Can you guys see the app webwallet.cash? Is it coming up?
And it looks good. Yes.
Okay, cool. So webwallet.cash is a minimum viable web wallet using the Electrum Cash protocol. Basically, the idea is that I think there's so much that we're going to be able to do with web wallets, and there's so much progress which has been made by things like the Jonathan's Electrum Cash and Jason Dreitzner's Liborth and whatnot. So I wanted to demonstrate that it's actually pretty straightforward to get a minimum viable web wallet working for developers. So the idea was maybe to turn this into a tutorial or something like that. And so this is just literally the most basic web wallet you could possibly create. And it uses the Electrum Cash protocol over WebSockets, which is really cool, new functionality. It's talking to an Electrum server and using that to get the balance. So trust the server in terms of knowing what the balance is, and it also uses those servers to broadcast transactions. So you can see I've already topped this web wallet up. What it does is saves a private key. Basically, on first use, it saves a private key to the local storage. I'll just show you guys quickly in the console. So you can see there's a private key just stored in hex format in local storage, and that's all there is to the wallet. And I'm sharing my phone screen on the right-hand side. And if I make a small transaction from the bitcoin.com wallet, if you watch the balance on the left-hand side, when I make the transaction, that balance has updated. Does it work? Okay. So yeah, so basically that's receiving a notification over the Electrum protocol to say, hey, the status of your script hash has changed. And it then goes and does a get balance request and gets a new balance. And so that's how it knows it has 29K Satoshis. And it's adding the confirmed and unconfirmed balances for that address. So it just basically trusts unconfirmed transactions. And then in terms of making payments, there's a little button to send, which interfaces with the camera. And it doesn't even have a way of entering an amount. So you have to enter the amount on the receiving side so that it's in the QR code. And so I'm now going to confirm that, which signs and broadcasts a transaction. And hopefully, okay, so there you go. You can see payment received back in the bitcoin.com wallet. So that's pretty much it. And it was a great experience building it. I learned a couple of things about web wallets. I think it's awesome to have the WebSocket functionality. There's definitely a bit of delay in terms of that balance updating. So if I use the Electrum protocol on my, in other apps that I've been working on from a node server, it seems to be really fast compared to there's like a 1 or 2 second delay here with that balance updating. So that's something to go and understand. I don't know if it's because of the WebSockets or if it's because I'm using Electrum the Electrum Cache JavaScript library in cluster mode, and it waits to get back sort of matching results from more than one server, which is actually a great feature. Highly recommend using that. So I'm not sure where that delay is coming from. So that's one thing to work on. And then the other thing that I thought was quite interesting is on the send side, if you are building in a browser, what I did, I created this text box to paste because I wanted you to have the option of just pasting. But if you want to have a button that just says paste in a web interface, your browser, you have to get permission from the browser to access the clipboard, and you absolutely don't want to ask the user for permission to just go and read their clipboard at any point in time. So what I did here was to put a little text box so that the user can actually do a paste action or whatever. They can hold their finger down if they're on their mobile, hold their finger down on there until they see the paste option. And so that's an operating system initiated paste. Yeah, so that's webwallet.cache. Thanks for listening. Stop share.
Well, that's a pretty slick interface, man.
Very nice. Yeah, I think like that, I don't know, like what I've been, I've been influenced by Chris and Vin and others, I think, to think about how to build, web apps, that you can also save to the home screen of your mobile. And I think something like a web wallet like this is just going to be, that's just going to be like an essential part of any app like that. Don't you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. The big advantage of a web wallet is that there's nothing to install or download. You just go to a web page, and the device agnosticism. So it doesn't matter if you're on Android or iOS or a refrigerator or your Tesla. Anything that can access a web browser, can now transact Bitcoin Cash.
And that's really great considering the app censorship on the app stores.
Yeah, there's so many reasons why doing it in a browser is good. I mean, for me personally, the desire to get this working is from the point of view of running meetups, and you have people turning up at your meetups, and you want to onboard them, and you want to do so quickly, and you have to say, oh, can you go into the app store and download this app, and then the guy says, oh, actually I've forgotten my app store password. So if you can just say, listen, go to your browser and type in webwallet.cache, it's such an easy thing to do. And I also think that because there's just so much talent in the web developer space, and that whole technology community and set of tools, they've figured out a lot of the problems in terms of composability and tooling and all of that kind of thing. So I think that's it would be great if we had a reference wallet as opposed to just reference node. And so, yeah, so the idea is just hopefully we can have an explosion of different web wallets. And I think that will happen. I think Jason with his library, I think that's really promising. I didn't get libauth working, so that's actually using Bitcore libcache for the transaction creation. But I'll turn it into a tutorial and share it on GitHub. And yeah, hopefully some people will build some cool web wallets with way more functionality than that.
I was thinking it would be absolutely awesome if you could try to get something like this into a project like Nextcloud. Suddenly loads of new users have an opportunity to, start using Bitcoin Cash.
Great idea.
But yeah, I wanted to say it looks really good for something that, literally whipped up in a weekend.
Thanks.
Very nice. Right. So, so that was Team Brady. Kudos. Anybody? So let's see. Future nodes. Team Spice, Kos, Return Code. Any of you guys here?
Well, I see Stoyan's here, and his project is similar to what Kos did. In fact, I was talking with Kos last night about this, and I think that they complement each other rather well. So I think if Kos doesn't show up, I'll discuss his project after we cover Stoyan's project.
Cool. Do you want to go, Stoyan? You want to go next?
Okay. Can I share a screen?
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you see it or?
NFT-based name service.
Yes, this one. So I put a rather long video on YouTube, and the average scene time was like 3 minutes, which is pretty good for a video only with black screen. seems it was seen only by hackers. But I decided to show up here and just talk more about the idea than about the implementation. So the project was NFTs-based name server service. And when you think of this, what exactly is the name service? Maybe everybody remember immediately domain name service, which present a very basic problem, like humans VC machines, like human understand the names, but machines want to work with numbers. So DNS was born on pretty early stages of internet. And because of this, it's pretty old service with a lot of problems, which, for example, it's very custodial. The big companies own the top level domains. You need to pay a lot of money to maintain this stuff. And it's, how to see, DNS is one of the most censorship friendly service. If somebody just stop this DNS or rewrite it to some other site, you just lose everything. So in the crypto space, this is pretty new area. Like we know this long addresses are pretty difficult to remember. So there's a lot of services starting there, like ens.domain with their .it or the .crypto by Unstoppable Domains. But it's pretty early stages. And I don't know how they implement this. So when I see one of the permissionless software foundation examples about the NFTs, these non-fungible tokens, I thought, oh, it's pretty maybe nice to use this thing for a name service. What are these non-fungible tokens? Maybe everybody know about this, but they usual SLP tokens. So we can move them between the wallets and how to see, give it to other people, and they're unique. So you cannot replace them. Also, they're immutable. And the most interesting in the presentation was about the grouping. So we can have classes of these non-fungible tokens, like bound by some common attribute. So I decided, okay, can I do, for example, the group tokens to be like top level domains, like .com, .something, something, and the children to be like user-defined domains, like Stoyan something. And I've done this like a command line application, which have two utilities. One is just the resolver. So it has two simple functions. If you ask for a name, it will return the SLP address, which is connected to this name. And also the reverse, if you ask it for some address, it will ask this address, okay, do you own this name? And the address responds, okay, it's this one. And because it's usual tokens, you can see here the token ID. You can see all of this information on the blockchain. You don't need to have some special kind of backend service which somebody will own. So this, for example, is the Stoyan.devcon NFT, non-fungible token, which represent this domain. And if you click here on the parent, you can see that it's part of the .devcon top level domain. And because it's usual SLP token, I can have it in my web wallet, possibly the new one that we see before a minute. And I can send it to somebody else or do some like usual SLP operations with it. So, and the other utility was just how to see, some command line scripts to maintain this creating of the group tokens, registering top level domains. But in fact, this part is even not essential for the whole idea. You can do this from your Electron Cash wallet or even from the maybe mint.bitcom.com. You just need to follow some rules. And I think this is the main thing about this idea. So one of the good things about the idea was that we're using the blockchain, which will give us like 100% uptime. It's there all the time. and information is immutable. It cannot be censorship, and it's decentralized. So it is not easy to stop it. Everybody will have a copy. And this provides a lot of possibilities. Like you can have DevCon domain, which will be active this DevCon, but for the other one, you just create another group token and have the same names, but pointing to different SLP addresses. You can have like community names. If you send something to, it's like mailing lists. If you something to devcon something, it will resend it to all SLP addresses. So there's a lot of possibilities, but what we are missing is the standards. So if somebody agree on the format of these token names, we can have pretty cool like features, because the resolver part, it will be inside some wallet. But if everybody agree to use the same names for these group tokens and for the domain tokens, I'm using in the moment _NS, for example, to start all of them, but it can be something better, something like NFT services protocol. I don't know, something to everybody will sure follow, and we can build a lot of service around this using these NFT tokens, because they and the blockchain providing a great infrastructure for this one. We just need the next level for this one. This is all. Thank you for your time.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
for that presentation.
I got to brag about this for a minute, because I really dug into, so on a personal level, Stoyan built a pretty complete command line application for interacting with this idea. And then I had to dig into the code, because the idea is deceptively simple. So what Stoyan's doing is, in a normal internet, we have the DNS, the domain name service, and that we all use. But what Stoyan's done here is he's made an NFT group. So it's important to understand the way you make NFTs on Bitcoin Cash with the SLP protocol is you create a group, and then you burn a group token to create the actual NFT. And so like a group could be like swords, and the children could be like Excalibur or the Green Dragon sword, or you like a group could be concert tickets, and an NFT would be like row 3 seat B, you know, like a specific seat. And so that's like the idea of NFTs. But what Stoyan did here is the group becomes the top level domain, like .com or .net or .cash. And then the individual NFTs become like trout.cash or, you know, whatever .cash. And so the registrar, instead of being DNS, is just the group token. And so in order to resolve a domain like trout.cash, you would make just an SLPDB query on all the children NFTs associated with like the .cash group token. And so it's just one simple query to SLPDB, which is a decentralized indexer that anybody can run, and everybody's going to get the same results. And so it's really, I thought that was just a very innovative connection there. And so Stoyan did what he just presented. And so let me talk a little bit about Kosa's project. He built a really slick user interface. So it's a good complement to what Stoyan's built. Is Kosa's web-based user interface could plug right into what Stoyan's built to like create the NFTs and register the NFTs. And then also in his demo, he was in a web browser showing that like these newly created domains were like resolving and bringing up web pages and pulling down data. So you could take a website, compile it, upload it to IPFS, and then use this new DNS system to like go to trout.cash, and it would resolve to that content on the IPFS network. And so I was asking him, I was like, how did you get your browser to actually resolve to these to use this new system instead of going to the default, which is the typical domain name service. And he was saying that he was just basically retrieving the content off IPFS and then wrapping it in a div, like a standard HTML element, and injecting it onto the page. And so between what Stoyan did and between what Coast did, we have a complete decentralized domain name service and the user interface for registering them and the user interface for resolving them in a web browser. So we basically have a completely new decentralized way to interact with content on the web.
That's incredible.
So could that facilitate identity?
Yes, it can. Yeah, go ahead and talk to that, Stoyan.
Yeah, you can, for example, now I'm using only on-chain, so there's just a name to SLP address resolution. But in fact, in this NTFS, in this NFT tokens, you have one more point there, which is the document URL. And I'm not using it, but for example, in the Chris presentation, he was pointing this to IPFS. And inside IPFS, you can put whatever meta information you want. Like it will be good, for example, to have a unique profile picture, or it can be like, I don't know, your GPG keys or whatever meta information you want to attach to this token. And because it's immutable on the chain, it will always point to the right, information. So yeah, with help from the IPFS or something like, I don't know, something where you can off-chain put some meta information, you can have whatever you want to attach to this thing.
Yeah, in the demo video that Stoyan uploaded to YouTube, he showed how like ultimately these domain names, they're a token and they reside in somebody's wallet. And so you can query the domain name and it resolves to a Bitcoin Cash address, or you can query the Bitcoin Cash address and it will resolve the name. So he did both reversed. And so that same system could be just like what the .eth guys are doing, where you can send cryptocurrency to someone's .eth address and they'll receive it, and it's just like very human readable name. And so you can do the exact same thing here.
So if that token were to get burned, what happens to the site?
You can burn it always.
Does the site go down, or
or
would it just not resolve?
You can create another group token and put your domain inside the new group token and point it to another stuff, like the new meta information. And because it's just human readable name, for the wallet it will be the same, always the same DNS. But behind this, you just need to change the address of the group token to point to the new one.
Yeah, the data still is retained on the blockchain, even if the token gets destroyed.
It will be just not accessed by this name pointer, but the information will be still there. So just create a new group token with the new name or something, and pointing to the same meta information on IPFS, and you have your domain again.
It would be almost like if Chrome said domain name not resolved, and then it would say to you, but do you want to go and check the IP address that was last known? So like this domain name has been no longer resolving, but actually you could go and look at what it resolved to at every point in the past. If you had a non-pruning or archive node you could query, and then you can go and look at all those IPFS entries and see if any of them are still there.
Maybe you can ask directly the SLPDB for the previous information about this token and get again maybe this without crawling the IPFS. But yeah, it's possibilities are endless. You just need to think, what can I do with all this idea? Because it's just idea. The implementation was just like, simple calls to this BCH GS.
Mm-hmm.
So idea and standards. These are the important.
One of the things I had to wrap my head around when I was looking at this code is, like if Stoyan wants the .com top level domain and I want the .com top level domain, we can both have it because the resolver is actually the NFT token. So if when you want at the user level, you choose which group token you want to resolve your addresses. And so anybody can be a registrar, and so the user can decide, or their wallet or their browser can decide who do they trust, who's going to be who's going to resolve these domain names for them.
Yeah, it's good. For example, if you have a top level friends domain, you can put inside your friends and resolve it to their addresses. But other people again can have .friend domain and use it for their friends. So it's there can be a lot of evil around this and good stuff too. So
well, what could go wrong?
Everything is human VC machines. Human will find something to use it for evil maybe and for good stuff. So it's not the technology is bad. It's for everybody. Just decide how to use it.
We have a question from the chat from Emergent. Stoyan, I think you could use the cache accounts protocol to solve the name conflict problem, or did you have another solution to that? Also solve squatting.
What kind of name?
He says you could use the cache accounts protocol to solve the name conflict problem. But maybe from your point of view, there is no name conflict problem.
I don't see, I see this like a feature, not a bug, because you can have several registers and you can use the best one, like the cheapest one or something, which will give you the most value to resolve the same domains. So it's not exactly the conflict, because inside this group token, everything is managed like properly. Names are unique, they belongs to this group. So having the same groups with the same name, they're still unique because their token ID is different. So they're physically different stuff. Just for the human eyes, it will be the same name. So it's more like a feature than maybe bug for me.
I like it too. I think the cache accounts point was made that they also allow duplicate names, but they say, hey, we have a certain block height where it had been registered, and then that is automatically a number that you add to the name. So you basically assume there's not going to be the exact same name in the same block, and then you have unique IDs anyway, which means that you have probably 5 or 6 digits behind every name. What is your ID, the unique part? Is that very long, or is that more, human readable?
I think they need this because they have one global space for all of their domains. But in my case, one group token is one isolated space. So I don't need this kind of numbers to add to the names. No.
Did you not say that your token is unique anyway? And I'm assuming that means you have some sort of token ID that you use to differentiate between two people registering friends as a group name. I mean, how do you differentiate? Is there some completely different? And is that user friendly? Let's put it that way. Is it very long? Is it short?
Just a second. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
So this one is this is the token like a ticker, and it's .devcon. So the system will understand this is the .devcon group, but in general, it's how to see, it have his unique ID. So even if you have the same, the token with the same name, it will be completely different token on the blockchain.
I understand. It's the Genesis transaction ID token.
Yeah, and this token will become like a parent for the all tokens inside it. Like this Stoyan Dev Con, see, it will have this name, but in fact it have unique, because it's a NFT token, it's unique. It just have for a parent this .conf. So if you have two groups with the same name,
their token ID will be different.
you just give the users this ID, so they will start always searching from there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So there
Very
must be,
cool.
how to see, somewhere when you start this kind of services, your website will see, okay, my domain is .stoyan, so please use this ID for the register, and you start using .stoyan.
And maybe that could be turned into some kind of shortcut in the future, you know, like QR codes, like how QR codes are shortcuts for, you know, the long public key addresses.
Yeah, or a very simple browser extension that does this resolution for you.
Very cool. All right. Well, thanks, Stoyan. And
Yeah,
also,
sorry for I take a lot of time.
no,
for this.
no, it's interesting. Yeah, nice job. And
I think
welcome.
the project deserves its time.
Definitely, definitely, and welcome Shamari Prince to the stream. So next up, who wants to go?
Hey, George.
Hey,
George, can you hear me?
Shamari. Yes, we can hear you great.
Yeah,
welcome.
I'm late. I didn't know this was happening. Yeah, I don't appreciate this. This is definitely developer cruelty, because I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep after not getting 24 hours of sleep. But I saw the message,
Right there with you.
and I said, let me just jump in there and see. I'm hoping this is not going to be a 3-hour marathon. I'm praying.
No, I think we max going to go another 40 minutes.
Okay. I'm on my phone as well, so I don't have the battery for 3 hours, but I can handle 40 minutes.
Okay, so who wants to go next? Future Nodes, Team Spice, Op Return Code, AGT.
I'd like to go next.
Yeah, Christian's got his hand up.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
So we're the BCH writers, our team. And it's basically a ride-sharing app that's powered on Bitcoin Cash, good alternative to Uber and Lyft. And yeah, hopefully it becomes a profitable business, but I've got a video presentation to show.
Now, Christian, this was inspired by the local events in California, right? Or was that just not important?
Well, yes. And I'm going to share that right now. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Beautiful panorama of Southern California, it looks like.
Try again.
Is this picture taken from a drone?
Okay, here it is. Our team is the Cash Writers. Sterling and myself, Christian. We're both web developers from California looking to use Bitcoin Cash to help solve a problem that the California politicians created. These politicians have recently passed a new labor law that almost caused rideshare services like Uber and Lyft to stop their operations. This is where Rides.Cash comes in.
Uber and Lyft, I have the solution to your California problem, and the solution is in Bitcoin Cash or any cryptocurrency with low on-chain fees. So the way it works is anytime somebody's paying with their cryptocurrency wallet, you have a QR code. Within that QR code, you can have 2 different payout addresses.
Rides.Cash is just that, utilizing Bitcoin.com's BIP70 API. it creates a transaction with two different outputs, 92% going to the driver, and the rest going to rides.cash as a fee to improve the service. Here's how you can use it. So in this demonstration, I'll be showing you how to get a ride from the LAX airport in California to a nearby pizza place that happens to accept Bitcoin Cash. First, select Get a Ride, and then enter the destination address. Move the pin as needed. Enter the destination address. The app will then confirm the details of the ride with you. Watch as the app searches for a nearby driver. When the driver opens the app, they will see the ride nearby that has just been requested. All the driver has to do is enter their BCH address, claim the ride, and then the user will receive a payment invoice. The rider now scans their payment invoice. And now, everyone's ready to go. Basically it.
That was sick.
Very nice. Very nice.
8%.
Nicely done.
A little wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yep.
What about the case though where you pay but something goes wrong with the ride?
Yeah, so right now, for the time's sake, I just did a regular BIP70 transaction with the two outputs, but in the future releases, I'd like to use some sort of escrow transaction that includes a moderator. And
Cool.
I learned a lot about CashScript, and Roscoe helped me understand it a little bit more with his CashScript Playground project. So I think that would be a good project to showcase next. Roscoe, show us what you've got.
All right, nice segue into that. All right, 1 second. Let me share my screen. Whoop. All right. Can you guys see everything okay? Perfect.
Yes.
All right. So my friend Jenny and I created CashScript Playground, which is a way to write and use CashScript smart contracts in the browser. So CashScript, just a little bit of background, is a high-level smart contract language for Bitcoin Cash that was sort of inspired by the syntax of a lot of Ethereum languages like Solidity, and it basically allows you to write Bitcoin Cash smart contracts in a more straightforward way. And so up until now, in order to try that out, you had to basically install the compiler or clone the repository and like run some command line examples for that, which is not the way most people want to try things out. So that's why we created the CashScript Playground, which is like an online text editor and an interface to interact with it. So basically here on the right side, you can type your smart contract, and this is like the default example that's in there. And then we can click compile, and it basically generates your sort of form to instantiate a new instance of this contract. And the example contract that we're using here is a transfer with timeout, which is like the same as an expiring tip, which basically means that I can send someone money, and if they don't claim it in time, so let's say before next week Monday, then I can reclaim the money for myself, but not before that time. And the way that works is by providing the public keys of the sender and the receiver, and specify a timeout block. And then there's this transfer function and a timeout function to reclaim it. So this compilation is all done in the browser. So for example, let's say we make a spell, like a typo, then we see also that it gives us the compiler error. So it's undefined reference to this thing. So, but in this case, everything works out. So for this example, I prepared Alice and Bob. This is Alice's private key, and Alice will be sending money to Bob. This is Bob's public key. Then let's see what the most recent block is, which is 651770. So let's see if we can do it one block ahead, then maybe we can showcase all functionality. So we click create, and then it generates like some information about the contract. So it'll give you the address and the current balance. And also this is some information about the compiled bytecode, which can be interesting, but generally it's all good. So as we can see, the contract has 0 Satoshis right now, but in order to use it, we want some money. So I'm just going to send a very small amount of BCH using the QR code on the right. And let's send it doesn't auto update the page yet. So if I click create again, we'll see send 5,000 Satoshis there. And so then we have these two functions, right? So there's a transfer function, which means Bob is claiming his money. And there's a timeout function, which means Alice is reclaiming the money. And only they can call these functions. So then if we, let's show that works. So we'll copy an Alice's private key here. So that should not work because only Bob can spend this. And then we'll just send it to an address. We'll send 1,000 Satoshis. And then we send it, and we'll wait a little bit. And then we see that it failed. And like this is a very technical error code, but this basically means that the signature check failed, which is correct because Alice signed the transaction while Bob needed to. So then if we use Bob's private key to generate that signature, and we click send again, then we see that the transaction is successfully sent, and we can inspect it in the block explorer. So there we see that it was sent from the smart contract address to this address that I pasted in, and the remainder was sent back to the smart contract as change. So if we refresh the page, we can also see that the contract balance has updated. So there's 1,000 gone and a little bit for the transaction fees. So let's see, is there a new block already? Not yet. So that means that if we try to spend it as Alice, it will tell us that we can't because the timeout has not been reached yet. So yeah, this is a different error than the last one. So this says lock time requirement not satisfied, which basically means that yeah, that Alice can't claim it yet. I'm just gonna open a new tab because we want to keep this open so that maybe later after some questions we can come back and send a succeeding transaction. But just to show that, you know, you can just really put in any kind of contract in there. You know, this is the pay to palindrome, which basically means that you have to present a palindrome to spend from here, which is very trivial. So we'll
I love this contract.
Plan Canal Panama, which is a palindrome. A man, a plan, a canal Panama, and we'll
so a palindrome is a word that's spelled the same backwards and forwards. That's what a palindrome is.
Oh yeah, that's very good detail. So as we can see, there's about 40,000 satoshis already in this contract, which can be spent by anyone by just providing a palindrome there. So if we say send, then we'll wait for a small amount of time again, and we see that the transaction successfully sent as well. But let's say we don't provide a real palindrome, then it doesn't work. So yeah, you can just develop your own smart contracts in here. Just try it out. Playground.cashscript.org. Yeah, everything is working. It's just it does use mainnet, so be careful that you don't like create smart contracts that keep your money stuck. So yeah, be careful about that. But,
Roscoe,
yeah,
you're definitely my hero. This is amazing. The UI is just beautiful. Yeah, I'm jealous. This is
I
nice.
did all
very nice on the eyes.
I did all the integration work, and Jenny made it look so pretty. So thank you, Jenny.
Okay, where's this Jenny?
Jenny is in the call as well. I don't know.
Well, then I take everything I said to you back, and I forward that on to Jenny.
So to zoom way out, if there's any non-devs on the call that don't get this, there's a tool on the internet called JS Fiddle, and it looks very similar to this, and it is solely responsible for onboarding thousands, if not millions, of developers to front-end development. And so what Roscoe has done here is he's created the same idea, this sort of rapid prototype sandbox, which we know is a good model to follow. And now we can rapidly onboard people into CashScript and smart contracts on BCH with this tool.
So basically this is like JavaScript, and it gets converted or compiled into something that executes on the blockchain, or?
So this is so the code that you write here on the left is CashScript, which is like a domain-specific high-level language. You can check it out on cashscript.org, which is
and it's based on Ethereum Solidity.
Yeah, so it has very similar syntax to the high-level language that Solidity uses or that Ethereum uses, except that of course things work differently because the platforms are very different. But on the eyes, it looks very similar, and you can even use Solidity syntax highlighters to highlight CashScript code, which is actually what's happening here. This is a Solidity syntax highlighter. So you can write that CashScript syntax, which is so it's not JavaScript, it's just like a separate language, and then that gets compiled into Bitcoin scripts, which is what is run by the Bitcoin Cash network, and that allows you to create these transactions.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Roscoe. That's outstanding. So I think Anastasia is next.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. What can you see? Can you see the browser?
slp.cocktail.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So we have built the platform for decentralized coin joins with CLP tokens on Bitcoin Cash. We really wanted to connect it to wallet extension, but it has really a high-level API that does not suit our purposes. It actually has the sign function, but I didn't get how to put signature into SIG script. So we just use a secure way to put your private key here. And the balance with your, of your tokens will be displayed along with your address. And we create another account here. So that we can create a coin join. Actually, users should choose amount, peers, and the token they wanted to send. It should be the same, and the amount and peers should be the same in order to users can be connected. We use WebRTC to connect peers. Then they should provide recipient addresses. All right, since, yeah. Well, since something went wrong with free test full stack, it's sometimes happening. That's why I can show you our demo video where you can look at how it really works. I guess it's the same stage here. So you can see that the outputs have the same amount, and that's why it is hard for outside users to understand who actually wanted to send these coins. Also, actually, yeah, it's all about it. I think it's clear. Also, I will prepare the article about how you can create a coin join for CLP tokens on Bitcoin Cash with JavaScript, and I think I will share it today or tomorrow.
Yeah, Anastasia, can you show the transaction on the Block Explorer again? Do you have that handy?
I don't have it right now.
Okay.
I need time to find it. But I think I can just Google it.
Yeah, if you can pull it up. So what I want to point out here, so for people who aren't, CoinJoin is something I've spent a lot of time researching. And the idea is, so for people who are not familiar with CoinJoin, imagine like you and two friends, you stand around a table and you all take your cash out of your wallets, you throw it down on the table, you shuffle it around, you all walk away with the same amount of money you started with, but you don't know whose dollar is actually in your wallet. That's the idea of CoinJoin. It makes non-fungible currency fungible. And so I have never seen this done with SLP tokens. It's been theorized. We've talked about how to do it, but I've never actually seen it in the wild. This is the first time I've ever seen it in the wild. And what's cool about it is that it just works like a normal coin join. There's actually nothing very special about SLP's coin join. So what you can see is those first transactions on the outputs, those first two transactions are identical. So it's not possible for a third party to know what inputs own those outputs, and then those other transactions on the bottom, those are the change outputs. So you started with a larger amount, so you're going to get some change. So you can track those, but that's not important. What's important is those first two outputs. They've sort of broken the link of identity, and so those are as long as you're careful with those new tokens, they are not linked to your previous addresses. And I just think it's awesome that this is the first really slick user interface, and generates the very first SLP CoinJoin transactions I've ever seen. So congratulations.
Yeah, I like the fact that you're using the web RTC. That's very creative.
So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Very nice work. Very cool.
Very cool.
Okay, excellent. So who would like to go next? AB, Bitcoin Cash, please. Degenerate Gamblers.
Well, Shamar, you're online, and your battery is limited, so.
Don't do this to me. This is like high school all over again. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for a live demo.
Okay.
I was up till 5 a.m. getting my presentation kind of polished, edited in iMovie. If there's anyone at some point that could just like run that, I'm on my phone, so I don't even know how to do that on the phone. But if there's someone that could, it's on Library. If you go to my repo on the Dev Con repo, you can on the GitHub, you can pull the link up for Library, and someone, please, if anyone would be so kind to just share their screen and run the video. And you don't have to do that now, but at some point, that would be great.
Yeah, maybe you can send me links or something.
I'm pulling it down right now. It'll take me a minute.
Okay, cool. So does anybody else want to go while Chris is getting that ready? Future Nodes, Team Spice, Opportune Code, AGT, Blockbreaker, Degenerate Gamblers, AB. Bueller?
I've got a if I do the demo as well, just so that I don't leak my Wi-Fi or something.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I think it's best if I just do my video demo as well, because where I'm working on microcontrollers, everything's hard-coded, and I don't really want to leak Wi-Fi or...
Sure, sure. You ready to go now?
I'll be ready to go after Chris does this video, because I'll have to pull up the link too.
Okay, no worries.
Well, I'm downloading Shamari's thing right now. It might take a minute.
Here, let me try Opportune. He's got a video.
He reached out to me. Yeah, did he send you a video?
Yeah.
Okay, it was pretty scrambled due to the compression on my end, but maybe it'll turn out better on your end.
Yeah, let me give it a try here. Are you guys able to see?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is from Opportune. And let's see, he's got a text for me to read. So for this, these are Opportune's words. So for this hackathon, I'm tackling a problem that I myself have faced doing consultation and contract work and stuff like that. I try to onboard new people I work with to use crypto, but it's so hard and complicated for them. So I'm creating this service, making it the easiest way possible for new users to come to crypto world when doing this type of stuff. Yeah, it is a little scrambled. One other issue there is the BCH price change. You can't really put BCH to escrow for 1 month. SLP and stablecoins solve that, so I'm building it on SLP, on 1, SLP 2, Vin Armani's postage protocol to solve the gas issue, providing users a pure SLP experience, and PSF's implementation of a post office server. 3, a smart contract, so the service can only say who gets the funds in case of problems and not be in possession of funds in any way whatsoever. 4, Bitcoin.com's link library to integrate with Badger Wallet to send assets and get addresses to withdraw funds to. 5, implemented BIP70 to take 1% fee out of contracts, but found out Badger doesn't allow self-signed certs to do payment requests. Knowing that other teams got the same issue, I forked and fixed it to find out it has an issue with calculating fees properly. So I've disabled all that for now. Yeah, unfortunately, this video is pretty scrambled.
Yeah, so this is a good example of, so Opportune, my understanding from what he's told me is that he's new to the Bitcoin Cash space. He's never participated or worked with it at all. So this was all new to him. And he definitely dove in head first. And you know, I was trying to work with him with the Opportune. There was some, or I'm sorry, with the post office, there were some issues there. He had some issues with Badger Wallet. You know, these are the challenges. This is why we have these hackathons, is to inspire people to enter the space and to shine a light on some of the fragility of some of our infrastructure, like where the rubber meets the road. So yeah, but I got it. So the idea of my understanding of his idea is it was supposed to be an escrow contract, similar to like local.bitcoin.com, but for SLP tokens. And then on top of it, he was trying to do a user interface using Badger Wallet and the post office. And so all of these are cutting edge technologies that are half baked right now. And so, you know, he got bit by those bugs. And but my hat's off to him for you know, the unbridled enthusiasm and trying to do it. And I think he learned a lot. And he definitely found a couple bugs in the post office prototype that the Permissionless Software Foundation has been working on. So, you know, net, I think everybody came out as a win here. But yeah, unfortunately, sometimes this is what happens with some of these hackathon projects, but it's all good.
Yeah, so do you know what's going on with Badger? I mean, is there any hope that we might get that back active again?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's really going to depend on the community. So let me see if I can just answer that real quick. The short version is Badger the extension was originally forked from MetaMask.
Sure, yeah.
And it's both of which are spaghetti code. MetaMask has since like fixed that and rebuilt it from the ground up, whereas Badger is still the old code base. So it has serious issues. Like the idea is wonderful, the implementation not so much. It was fully funded by Bitcoin.com, and it's not anymore.
I think his name was Spend BCH.
Yeah. I worked with him
on that. I reached out to him about like what was going on, because like it was missing basic, very, very bad. Like I couldn't even sign a I couldn't sign with my wallet, like a message, which was like, to me, like the most basic thing you can do, you know, with a private key, is sign a message. And he was like, yeah. I was like, you know, why isn't that there? And he's like, yeah, we had, you know, we had to rebuild everything from scratch from MetaMask. So I just thought that was really weird. And I just was wondering if there's any future for that extension.
It's not maintained. The project is no longer maintained. So what needs to happen, and there's a lot of interest, is someone just needs to take point, do a flip start, or say, hey, I'm going to rebuild Badger from the ground up.
Because we need that. That's the closest way we get to decentralized applications. You know, basically the project that I worked on this weekend was using the same concept, but in Bitcoin.com's wallet. And that's what I would like to see available in Chrome and Brave, is the ability to build decentralized applications that interact with a plugin. You know, just like, you know, the entire Ethereum community uses MetaMask, and they build these awesome, fantastic, the whole DeFi is based on, I would say, MetaMask. I mean, unless you're using a mobile wallet, everyone that I know of uses MetaMask. So I feel like we really need that in Bitcoin Cash. So that's a little disappointing. I just wanted to make that comment and kind of get your opinion on what we need to do. But that was perfect. I think that we should definitely try to organize and figure out who's best to maintain it and then do a flip starter for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's no end of interest in it. It's just like someone needs to step up and make it happen.
Yeah, I think it's crucial. It's for moving forward. And I'm just envisioning like the DeFi version, the Bitcoin Cash version of DeFi would require that. So that's a first step.
If there's a developer who wants to take that on but wants some biz dev support, I'm definitely interested in working on that. So yeah, thanks again to OpReturn. Really great effort, great progress. The first steps are always tricky. And Chris, are you ready to proceed with Shamari's presentation?
Yeah, let me share my screen. And so you said there's an extra thing I got to do for the, let's see. Can you guys hear that audio? Okay.
No.
Let me.
I can narrate. I can totally narrate. If you could play the video, I think I want you to have your screen with my audio. Is that possible?
Yeah. I think I just figured it out.
And I've just endured 24.
All right, playing now.
Good evening, Bitcoin Cash community. My name is Shamari, and I've just endured 24 hours plus of the most grueling development work I think I've ever experienced. I'm exhausted, but I want to get this presentation out as quickly as possible to the organizers of this event. Much appreciation to them for their hard work, and as well as congratulations to everyone that participated. I think it was a very successful event based on what I was able to see from the GitHubs and what was shared on Twitter. Amazing projects, very bullish on what's going on with this community at this time. And I do hope that this is the momentum, the start of the momentum that will carry us over the next year, which I'm very optimistic will be a bullish cycle. With all the efforts that I've seen this weekend, I do hope that we can continue that trend over the next year. So without further ado, here is my project for this DEV Con, Hush Your Money. Okay, so I'll take you through a tour of the application via the Bitcoin.com development wallet that was made available at the start of the event. It's identical to the wallet that many of you have installed in your Android or iPhones. The only difference is that it offers a developers tab that lets you enter a URL of a decentralized application. So as the wallet loads, we come to the welcome screen, which asks the user to enter an extended public key. This was initially a problem because the Link API does not allow you to request the extended public key. Corbin Fraser was kind enough to offer a workaround by going to the wallet information, which you can get to by clicking on those three vertical dots in the top right, scrolling down to wallet information, and then scrolling down to the extended public key, which you can then tap and it gets copied to your clipboard. So we're just going to then backtrack to our application and paste that extended public key into the text field and hit save and continue. And once you've done that, the screen will update and display your primary Bitcoin.com wallet address. So that brings us to the first tab, which is search. And you can enter any Bitcoin address or transaction ID. It will then go out in real time, scan the blockchain, and score the address or the transaction based on anonymity protocols and give you a score ranging from A through F. In this case, we haven't actually completed the development for the scoring, so it just provides check marks for transactions that have been through the some sort of anonymity protocol. So that brings us to the next tab, which is Analyst. The difference here is that it utilizes the extended public key that you entered at the start to scan your Bitcoin.com wallet. It'll scan all the deposit accounts, all the change accounts, and perform the same grading, scoring based on anonymity activity, again, ranging through A through F. In this case, again, we're just using green and red to signal the transactions and addresses that have been through some sort of anonymity protocol, cache shuffle, cache fusion. But the idea is to give the user a grade letter representing the level of privacy for that address or transaction. The inspiration for this really came from Blockchair's privacy-o-meter, and what I've been able to do is utilize their documentation to kind of mimic the activities that would be used to grade and score a particular transaction, and then apply it to all the transactions in your Bitcoin.com wallet. And this brings us to the shuffler, where you can actually perform a cache shuffle from within the Bitcoin.com wallet itself. In this example, we hard-coded the amount just to demonstrate the ability of the API to interface with our application. We're sending 3 cents from the Bitcoin.com wallet to the Bitcoin.com Hush wallet. So as you can see, the transaction was sent. The Hush wallet immediately detects the receipt of those coins and automatically puts them into the shuffler. From there, we can navigate to the Blockchain Explorer and see that, in fact, our coins were sent from the main Bitcoin.com wallet and have been received by the Hush wallet. If you're curious to actually see what this looks like doing a cache shuffle over the web, you can head over to app.nidojs.org. And this application was built a few months ago. It's fully functional. It's not entirely robust. Certainly can use some enhancements with the overall user experience, but it's fully functional. You can try it out with small amounts and actually see how the process works when your coins get shuffled. And in closing, I would like to plug the volunteer funding platform causes.cash, which has a campaign for Hush Your Money. The end goal of this campaign is to bring cash fusion to all the mobile wallets. Certainly Bitcoin.com would be at the top of that list. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.
Trout, much thanks for that.
Excellent
Appreciate
presentation.
that.
There we go.
I appreciate that very much. I just want to quickly, because I forgot, and I'm so upset at myself, I forgot to mention one of the most important aspects of the application is that it's non-custodial. People keep asking me about that, and everything I build is non-custodial. So the extended private public key that you get from the Bitcoin.com wallet, we take that to generate your private key. So it's never shared. It's not transmitted anywhere. It's all contained within the application. That that again, you're able to utilize your own extended public key, which is not known. As far as I know, there's no way to derive your extended public key from your online from blockchain transactions. So I mean, this is something that I definitely am looking for input from others that may or may not agree with that approach. But that's the idea, is that it's a non-custodial solution in that you maintain full control of your keys at all times.
Very cool. Very cool. And very well presented. Thank you so much, Shomari.
Thank you guys.
we should have had a category for like the sexiest demo video.
All right. So, who wants to go next? We would still like to hear from Future Nodes, Team Spice, AGT, Blockbreaker, Degenerate Gamblers, and AB.
So I've got, I think I'll be presenting for Blockbreaker and Team Spice. But Jet, you're in the call, so this might be a good time for you to do your presentation.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna play the video. I woke up this morning and immediately sat down to record this because I thought I was already late. So I gotta move my Zoom call. Just give me a second. Let me share screen. Share computer sound. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, hello. Can you hear that? Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. So good morning. This is gonna be my BCH Dev Con presentation. It's gonna be in 3 parts. The first part is the quick demo of getting LED. The second part is a very quick walkthrough in the code, and the third part is all the things that didn't work. So feel free to skip by, because otherwise I'm just gonna fucking bitch. So first things first. Everything's running on the ESP8236 microcontroller. We've plugged it in. As you can see from the serial monitor, it's not working, so we're just gonna make sure that we have ownership of that, and then we should I'll probably have to reset it. So once I reset it, I'm going to give one transaction, which is going to give a header that we'll be able to see, and then I'm going to make another transaction from the same address that it's watching, and then when the 2 transaction IDs aren't the same, the LED will blink as a toggle, and that's essentially a symbolic, like almost like a visualization of a 5 to 12 volt relay. So think IOs at candy machines, starting washers, dryers, any like Internet of Things, home application, light switches, whatever. This can now do it talking to the blockchain. So, we're gonna reset. Oh, maybe it's not. Uh-oh. Okay. I'll upload and we'll do it that way. So it's compiling. It will flash as it's uploading. %. Now, if it turns on before the transaction goes through, we might see an error, but it's fine. Uploaded, hard resetting, connecting, liking the first one. Shows that header, liking the second one. should show a different header, and then that light will blink off. Bam! So that's that. So essentially what this does is it listens for 2 different transaction IDs in the same address and then makes the action. Should I go over the code portion? Because no one else did in the demo, so we can just kind of.
Yeah, no, totally. I would love to see the code.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, your code's pretty short.
So now that that's all done, you've seen that. I'm going to close out, and we'll go through the code. All right, so we're looking at the code here. It uses 3 different libraries that aren't the standard Arduino libraries. That's the ESP8266 Wi-Fi. That's the board we're using. This could work on an ESP32 as well. I'm getting a couple in later today. I'll screw around with the Wi-Fi client secure. That's so you can use HTTPS, and then the Arduino JSON library to parse the GET requests. So you connect to your Wi-Fi. Blah blah blah. This is the SHA-1 fingerprint of the SSL certificate from the host, and you want that just so that you can do secure connections. So we're initializing the LED there. If you're not using the LED, you don't have to do that, but there are different pin modes that you might have to toggle. So it connects to the specified SSD with the password, and we put the Wi-Fi into the client mode because it can also put out access points if you want. We don't really for this one. And then we have 2 request functions. They both do the exact same things. I only did them because I was running out of time and I needed to get shit done. So in a request, it will make the GET request from the rest.bitcoin.com, and then this took so long for me to get. C is actually the thing that holds a 1-character buffer. So C, if you just print C, it constantly changes. If you print line C, it prints down, so you don't know what's going on. So keep in mind, I've never written C++ before this hackathon in my life. I've only used TinyGo for the microcontroller stuff. So this whole project was massive for me. Learning how to do this, crazy. Took fucking a day and a half. So we just concatenate that buffer back to the content that we already declared up here, and then that's what we're deserializing. This doc variable is another difficult one. You actually have to put your GET request in and put it into a assistant, the Arduino JSON assistant, in order to understand what the overall size is going to be. And if you don't do that, then you'll run out of memory. I know I'm a little bit over the time here, so it can print all kinds of stuff. I just have it so that it does UTXOs because I wanted to compare UTXO transaction IDs because I wanted it to compare transaction IDs. It could do legacy addresses, cache addresses, SLP addresses, pub keys, confirmations, satoshis, vouts, like all kinds of stuff. In this case, we make 2 requests. We throw the Bitcoin cache address as an argument to the functions, and if the 2 values of the transaction IDs are not the same, then that's when you do something. I have this delay just so it doesn't constantly make requests again, but you can make the same thing happen just by resetting the board. All right, that's my presentation. If you want to reach out and let me bitch about all the things that I fucked up on, let me know. Thanks for watching.
That's awesome, man. I definitely appreciate the fact that you were brave enough to use C++ for the first time in a hackathon. That's so ambitious. So yeah, kudos to you.
I didn't want to, but I realized like a day before the hackathon happened that I didn't have a choice because the TinyGo libraries don't support gRPC. So I was just like, oh, okay. All right, we'll do this then.
I kept encouraging him to go out and get a Raspberry Pi for like the first 48 hours.
And just do everything in Python.
Seriously impressive.
So yeah, so like again, to zoom out on this project, I think this is really valuable because anybody who used to watch the Bitcoin.com live streams with Roger, and their like candy would spill out on the table, that IOZetta candy machine, or if you've ever fed chickens with or ducks or sheep with Bitcoin Cash, like this is the basic building block that enables all of that. So Jet's managed to get a $5 microcontroller with built-in Wi-Fi, able to read Bitcoin Cash transactions and react to them. So he's talked about doing a laundromat. I personally, I'm going to buy one, and I'm going to hook it up to a kegerator, so I have Bitcoin Cash activated beer dispenser. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, but what kind of beer?
Oh, now that's the question. I'll
Are you
have
talking like IPA? Okay.
No, I'm a dark beer guy myself.
Oh yeah. Okay. I ain't mad at you.
It has to be green tea. We cannot. No. It has to be green tea for this, right?
Sure. Yeah, Arizona green tea.
I don't know about that. I need my hops. I'll miss the hops.
All right. Okay.
Is that your
very
last
nice.
can, Jet? Are you finally on your last can? Oh no,
No.
Oh, one more to go. That's been powering Jet. That's all that code was written on Arizona green tea.
100%.
Now that's the real jet fuel.
I think that qualifies as a dad joke.
Biodiesel, huh?
All right, so we're looking for future nodes, Team Spice, Block Breaker, Degenerate Gamblers, or AB.
Yeah, I've got a YouTube video for Team Spice. I have not seen it yet, but let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Let's see, I need to turn on. Okay. Oh, I could turn up my quality. Okay, that's it. I'm not hearing anything either. Oh, because I have. There we go.
We are here.
All right, there we go.
All right. Good evening. Good morning.
You guys can hear that audio?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone, depending where you are. We are here to present the output for the DevCon hackathon. I'm Jomar.
I am Raymond.
And I am Jetro. And we are the Team Spice. And for this hackathon, let me share my screen.
It's 20 minutes long, so we might just do the highlights.
We worked on a project called SLP Notify. We aim to build a reliable SLP transaction notification system because we know how painful it is to build applications that track SLP and BCH transactions in a reliable way. So this is actually an application that's already used. It's already running. It's used in SpiceBot, and it looks something. The diagram looks something like this. So we collect transactions and blocks data from multiple sources, servers from Fountainhead, from Bitcoin.com, and practically all the available sources, public sources. We save the transactions, and then for addresses that are subscribed to the service, we send notifications. And for this is already working as it is presented here. For the hackathon, we built the user-facing features. So although this is running internally already in Spice, but we want to expose this to developers and to other crypto enthusiasts, so they can use this for whatever purpose their applications may have. So we built three user-facing channels. during the hackathon. So first we built a Slack bot. So if you want to receive notifications through Slack, we built a subscription system, creating a Slack bot for that. We also created a Telegram bot if you want to receive notifications to Telegram. And for SLP or BCH developers, we created a subscription system to our subscription system, so you can receive notifications through webhooks that will be sent to your applications, and you can handle the data sent to it whatever way that your business logic requires. Okay, so in this presentation, we'll present those three channels that we built. I'm starting with Slackbot, and Jets will present that. And then I will present the Telegram bot, and Raymond here will present the webhook. Okay, I'll stop sharing. Jets, you take over.
So the first integration is for Slack app, which is the SLP Notify bot. To have the first use of the bot, you install the bot to your workspace and then type any word to show the commands of the bot. According to the info commands, there are 3 commands, which is the subscribe, unsubscribe, and the tokens. So in order for your SLP or BCH address to receive notifications, you will run the subscribe command, which is subscribe space your address and space the token name for SLP addresses only. To check the tokens supported by SLP Notify, you can type the command tokens. And after typing the command, it lists the supported tokens, which can be used every time you subscribe using SLP address. Another command would be the unsubscribe, which is to stop receiving notifications on a specific address. Just like subscribe, it has the syntax of unsubscribe space address space token if it is an SLP address. Now we will try to subscribe an address using a test address that we saved. So according to earlier, to subscribe, we run the command subscribe space the SLP or BCH address, and if it is an SLP address, you specify the token you want to keep track. And then there will be a notification that would ensure you that your address is already subscribed to SLP Notify. To test that, we will try a deposit using Badger Wallet. I will input the subscribed address and test for 100 spice. And what is expected here is after the transaction is already done, the SLP Notify bot would immediately pop up a notification saying to the user that the transaction has happened on that address. Confirm. And then here is our notification. As you can see, the notification displays the address that has a current transaction, the token that was used, the amount, which was 100, and the transaction ID, which can be used to keep track on the Explorer at Bitcoin. Next is we would try to unsubscribe an address if you do not want any notifications to be received on that address.
So for the sake of time, I'm going to pause it there. We can keep going if we think, but I think that gives people an idea. And I want to just point out that this is a commercially very valuable. I was working with the team during the hackathon, and they were asking like, what are the commercial options for getting a notification about SLP tokens? And what I hadn't really fully thought about was that like you have to have access to a node. There's no way to get any sort of notification from a service unless they have access to a node. So what they're looking to do, from my understanding, is they've got the Slack bot, the Telegram bot, and the webhook. And so it's like a commercial subscription service that you can that your business can subscribe to in order to get these sort of verifications. And one of the things that's really valuable in this space, because the tech is so new, is to have more than one source of truth, so that if one fails, which happens in this space because everything's so new, you have a backup, preferably 2 or 3 sources of information. So that's the main value that I'm getting from this project. But I love the integrations they've done. These are pretty much turnkey. I mean, if the Telegram bot and the webhook run as smooth as this, they did a great job on the integrations.
Major kudos to Team Spice. Impressive. Is the team out of the Philippines or a variety of countries, or?
Yeah, I don't know much about it. Christian, do you guys know much about Team Spice? Let's see. I'm no longer sharing my desktop. Okay,
I've
good.
noticed a lot of BCH activity recently among people kind of in South Asia, Bangladesh, India, the Philippines, that whole region, and it's really encouraging. It's very cool. All right.
So I've got another video for Block Breaker. Downloads. I just need to see if I can find it.
Yeah,
There
and
it is.
in addition to block breakers, so next we'll be looking after block breakers for future nodes, degenerate gamblers, and AB.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen again. Is that who's sharing their screen? Is that me?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. Yeah, because it's a video. That's why I don't recognize the desktop. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Block Breaker is a video game that you pay Bitcoin Cash. They have a slide deck that I'll show after this video. But I think their idea. Oh, there is music. Oh no. So yeah, so what they're demoing here is they paid for like the port or the token to get access to the game with Badger Wallet. That was pretty fast. So that was the basic idea. I think they were originally trying to make this a general solution. There we go. For video games, and so they just settled on this one. Yeah, pay 25 cents to play for five lives for the video game. And so I think what they did is it's a phone app game, and then they were using Badger Wallet I think their original idea was to integrate both, so you'd have it right Badger Wallet in the game, but I don't think they got quite that far, although it is certainly possible with a little more work. Yeah, so that was their basic idea. Very, very functional. I'd love to see more video games in the space, particularly anything that like a phone app or a web-based video game where you could just pay with Badger Wallet and start playing. That would be pretty cool.
What did they use to build the game in? Do we know? It looks familiar.
That is a
I
good
think my son has
question.
used it. Can't remember the name myself.
I think the Block Breaker game itself was they used Code Canyon. Yeah, Code Canyon.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how would that work on mobile? Because that does I know there's a Badger mobile,
Mm-hmm.
but does it offer the same type of experience as the plugin does in terms of like with the with the JavaScript? I think it's Web 3 or Web 4. I think it's called.
Well, that's what we were working on. We were trying to so the mobile and the extension they're essentially two standalone pieces of software that
Yeah.
don't have a whole lot in common. So we were in the process of rewriting the extension and bringing it in line and sharing a lot of the components with the mobile wallet. But we didn't get very far before the funding.
Because like I again just going back to the Badger extension, I see that as being necessary for advancing any sort of DeFi in the Bitcoin Cash space, and obviously that would be advantageous to have on mobile. The Bitcoin.com wallet that I was using, the link API is, I guess you would call it curated in that it's not open. The app that I was using was a development app, so I was able to put in any URL that I wanted. But on the production app that you would download, there's a curated list. So one of the questions I've been thinking about is like, how do we get an app, and I'm assuming Badger would be the closest thing to it, that where you can put any URL and go to a decentralized Bitcoin Cash app and do exactly what I just saw, but on mobile. I'm just for me it's like mobile first. That's me. I appreciate the extension, and I would love to, as I mentioned earlier, support an effort to get that extension supported and maintained. But it has to have a mobile counterpart where we can offer developers. Again, I'm always thinking about like bringing Ethereum developers to the Bitcoin Cash community, and limiting that to desktop is to me it's like just a non-starter.
Sure.
Não consegui limpar, mano, a entrada do carregador e entrou o cabo.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Shamari. What we had started doing at Bitcoin.com with Badger was creating a common core using React components, and then Badger Mobile is a React Native app, and then we were going to rebuild Badger extension with those common components, and I'm trying to take that same approach with wallet.fullstack.cash. It's very alpha software, but it's a Gatsby, so it's mobile first. So the web wallet is intended to run in a smartphone and look good in a smartphone. And I'm hoping that someday the Permissionless Software Foundation, as we pick up steam, can take that common core and build a browser extension. And that's one avenue I could see it going. And so anybody who ends up picking up the torch with Badger Wallet in the future, however that goes out, like I certainly want to work with them.
There's one caveat I will mention is that Apple has been I don't know exactly like how they've gone about it, but they're basically asking all the dApp browsers, the Ethereum dApp browsers, to remove that capability from their applications, which is just so weird to me, and I'm not totally surprised, but that's a concern I'm having. The future of dApp browsers seems to be in jeopardy on the iOS, in the iOS ecosystem. So I don't know yet. The last time I heard, I think even Trust Wallet was asked to remove the dApp capabilities. So I don't know if Apple's feeling threatened by that in some way.
Well, their
It's
business
just
model
weird.
has always been a walled garden, and so that's again like this is why it's good to do a web app that's not subject to that type of censorship.
Exactly. But then you can't do DApp with a web wallet. That I've tried it. Maybe someone could figure that out. But so you do need a native app to kind of encapsulate to handle the API calls. And I don't think you could do that with a web app. I don't know how that would work. Iframes or I don't know. But the idea is that you know you can build a decentralized application you know to you know to be able to monetize your mobile you know your mobile work. And as I said, I'm a little concerned about the future of that on the Apple ecosystem. So if anybody knows, you know, more about that, you know, I think we should talk about that. But again, you know, I'm just trying to.
What I would recommend is I'd love to get a Slack group going, and we can hash out all these ideas. And anybody who's interested in reviving Badger and sort of building some sort of solution for all these problems, like let's continue the conversation.
Sure. Okay.
All right. So we just have 3 teams remaining: Future Nodes, Degenerate Gamblers, and AB.
So I've got the Degenerate Gambler video queued up. I can share that.
Awesome.
Let's see. Okay. Yep, still sharing the audio. I don't think there's any audio.
Before we're just jumping in, I just announced on Twitter that we're extending the voting to.
Okay.
Não, é o hackathon, a apresentação do hackathon.
George, you might need to mute Nate camera ghosts. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here's the demo video for Degenerate Gamblers. It's pretty short. I don't think there's any audio, but these guys are tapping into, oh, okay, there's some captions at the bottom. And I think these price feeds are coming from the AnyHedge. Is that correct?
Yeah, there is the title there, using AnyHedge for Oracle.
Okay.
Here, using AnyHedge and price Oracle.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, this app lets you bet on any price oracle, and you're placing a bet on those 2 QR codes. You're either betting that it's going to go up or it's going to go down at a certain time.
Wait, so where's the data coming from on the results?
So my understanding is it's a smart contract based on these price feeds. These are an on-chain oracle, and so if you deposit the money to this QR code, the money is essentially released as an on-chain event from the oracle price feed through a smart contract.
But I know AnyHedge is doing. I've seen their price oracle, but I just saw a football match. Where's that coming from?
That's a good question. Okay, here we go. Funds will be locked in smart contract.
Maybe they're using some REST interface to the football database or something.
Bitcoin Cash using AnyHedge. Yeah, so this is similar to like Vin Armani's Jeton Lib, which is like sports wagering on chain using 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 an oracle. But I think in this particular implementation, what they did, and as part of their hackathon, is they built that user interface, and they have that sort of the trigger. They built the smart contract that is triggered by the oracle data.
So Jonathan from the chat says the football match example is because this doesn't really use a price oracle, but rather uses the price oracle and any hedge infrastructure in a clever way. And Emergent says, I'm not sure exactly what they did, but the BCH price oracle can be abused for a binary outcome also. It's an open specification. And Jonathan adds, so they make a contract, but instead of taking a real-time price feed, they trust the price oracle to provide a forced liquidation price to send all money to either party.
Well, that makes sense for the price. Anything based on like BCH USD, for sure. But who determines who won the match?
The oracle. That's where the trust comes in.
So I think what Jonathan is saying, that you can set up an oracle that is just for a match by just using the same specification, but then you will say something like, a price, like that's why Emergent Reason said abuse. So like you could say a price over $500 means Leeds won, and a price under $500 means Liverpool won. Even though it has nothing to do with the price.
I got you. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. I got you. Thanks.
Then you'd also have to trust the guy that put up that specific oracle, of course.
You could also enable like voting, and maybe harness the wisdom of the crowds there. I have a friend who built something called Tribe, which was for detecting fake news. And that's basically how he set it up. People got paid basically to vote on whether something was fake news or not, if I remember correctly. So we still have AB and future nodes.
AB is by Andre, not Andre Cabrera, a different Andre. And I talked to him yesterday, and I'm not sure if he I don't think he completed his. I'm looking in the Discord channels, and I'm not seeing any links. I'm not sure if he submitted a video or completed his project.
All right. And future nodes?
But Andre was new to the Bitcoin Cash space, and he did say he learned a lot. So that's another developer, bringing who previously hadn't interacted with Bitcoin Cash, that was brought in because of the hackathon and learned a lot and had a positive experience.
And that's the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have future nodes with us?
Future nodes.
While you're doing that, why don't we look at, let's see, the website again.
Oh, yeah, Mystery Man. Let's see. I have his. Yeah, go ahead. I'll try and pull that.
All right. So yeah, just gonna run through BCH Dev Con III. What an outstanding event! Sponsors included Bitcoin.com, the SLP Foundation, Fullstack.cash, General Protocols, Bitcoin Bay, Grapefruit Trading, Satoshi's Angels, Satochip.io. Some really great workshops here from Chris Troutner, Vin Armani, Tobias Rook, Fernando Pelliccioni, Jerry Kian, and the all-star team, Christian, Eleanor, Chris, Amori, Vin Armani, Tobias Rook, Colin, JT Freeman, imaginary username, Fernando, Jerry, Tom Zander. Really just such an impressive event. I just want to really congratulate you guys. I think you're just really blowing everybody away, especially at these moments. Like this is the, the wholesome, constructive thing that, everybody in Bitcoin Cash needs right now.
Yeah, yeah. These events are so healing for our space, and we had. I love that we did these happy hours, and they're fun. They're just a way to blow off steam, and I got to get to know Tom a lot better the other day. That was great, and just thank you, Eleanor, for hosting everybody and one location that helped. And I was hoping we'd get a little more interaction with the Brazilian team since they were all kind of huddled, but they were just so focused on what they were working on. They didn't really have, I think a lot of them went without sleep for all 3 days.
We were a bit more healthy. We did sleep and everything, but it was indeed lovely to be able to hang out with everybody and just, exactly, like to be able just to hang out together as, this year has been very, how can I put this lightly? Mouvementé.
2020.
Like, a lot of emotions, and I think it's been wonderful to just be able to just hang out and rant and laugh and just have a good time basically during the hackathon. So yeah, amazing to have everybody here in Amsterdam. I didn't expect it, right? This was a virtual event, Corona stuff. We don't want to do like too many big events or anything like this, but in the end we were able to gather a really cool team here. So thank you to
all
everyone.
of the workshops get recorded?
Yes, they are. They're all recorded.
Awesome.
I've got mine, and Vin posted his, Tobias posted his, and yeah.
But Chris has been a wonderful, wonderful mentor. Just again, I want to say it again, Chris, you've been just an amazing mentor. So, helping all these teams from A to Z. I just, without you like this in the Discord and really helping out teams on the go, obviously it's a team effort, but just really a special shout out to everyone. And I'm so happy as well that I was able to work with Christian for the first time on a project like this. So many emotions, for going from BCH Hackathon from 2 years ago to seeing now Roscoe, developing now Cash Script. So many things. Shamari, you dropped in as well. It was so nice. It was kind of like, oh, can I join and everything? And now amazing to see House Your Money. I don't know, too many things. Jenny, that was such an amazing interface that you made. Like, it's so sick. It's like so clean. I love it. It's so, so nice. Learning more about, what Flowy is as well. Thank you, Tom, for coming and visiting us in Amsterdam and discovering everything that you've been doing, all these libraries that are out there that you're working on, all these fantastic tools to even develop more things. I don't know. And I also really like meeting Jet with his Arizona green tea, and I don't know, your cool vibe, your cute cat on your bed. Everything was just fantastic. So thank you everyone for making this event. This is really, every bit counts, and we did it. So I look forward to voting. I have no idea how to vote now. It's like everything was incredible. I'm just like blown away by the quality of the projects, the ideas that came out. When you're an organizer and as a non-dev, you're kind of like, okay, this is not my part. This is not my specialty. As of now, you have to just sort of let it go when it happens. And it's just beautiful to see. So I really shout out to all the teams, your hard work. And I would like to just mention that Opportune coded. I'm in contact with him right now. And I think it would be really lovely, like in a week from now, maybe to just chill, gather everybody, and to give a chance to those that couldn't present or that want to do something a bit different to be able to showcase what they've done and maybe explain what they've learned or what was difficult, and to sort of have a recap in a week from now or so.
Yeah, and to extend that thought, Elle, there is a Telegram channel, BCH JS Toolkit. I put the link in the Discord announcements channel for the hackathon. I encourage all developers, particularly Opreturn and Mystery Man and Andre, some of these developers that are brand new to the space and still trying to orient themselves. You can still reach me at that BCH JS Toolkit Telegram channel. I'm happy to answer and continue mentoring, answer technical questions.
Awesome.
So I have that. I think what is the last one. This is by Mystery Man. He was another, I think, solo developer. I think he had a partner who dropped out, so he ended up bearing the load himself. Same with Opporturn. And this is I haven't seen this demo video yet, but it's only 5 minutes, so that's good. It's intended to be an automated investor. So I think what he was trying to do is predict the Bitcoin Cash price like 2 minutes in advance. And I believe, we'll find out, but I believe he was using the AnyHedge price oracle. And so part of the obstacle that he had to overcome was that it has to accrue data over time in order to be able to make a prediction. And so he was having a hard time with that with the demo. So I don't know how he overcame that, but I guess we're about to find out.
Hello, is me, Adam or Mystery Man. Today I'm showcasing our project, which is called Future Node.
You guys can hear his audio, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The premise of this project is a cryptocurrency auto investor. The purpose of this project is to essentially make Bitcoin investing or cryptocurrency investing easier for people all across the board, and also optimize cryptocurrency investing across the board. So what you do with this project is you deposit your cryptocurrency. For this example, we'll just use Bitcoin. We deposit our cryptocurrency into a wallet, and then in that wallet, what it does is it invests and reinvests your cryptocurrency. So we have a few different points in this project. We have a prediction part, so the reason why we're predicting is it just helps out with the logic. Like, let's say you have a high Bitcoin price point and then it's predicted to go low, then you know to sell. So then automatically we'll sell your Bitcoin. I'm just using Bitcoin as an example. Sell your Bitcoin, and then once it goes low, like you predicted, it will buy it back. So that's what this project is basically doing. The logic is very simple because I just kind of threw that together last minute because I was trying to figure out something that was happening with our, trying to figure out our CLI interface and stuff. So yeah, I have a prediction, our handling, and logic. Our logic is very, very trivial. I would have added more due to time and also mostly worrying about prediction and handling of everything. Unfortunately, we didn't really get a chance to do that. Also, we had to create our own wallet because it was the most simple at the time to use that with Django for a demo. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and get straight to the demo. Unfortunately, we wanted to do a website demo, but unfortunately, my friend had a few issues. So we weren't able to do our website demo, but I just kind of threw together this little CLI thing last minute. So yeah. Here it is. Starting the cycle. Also, you won't really see the cash balance and the cryptocurrency balance switching around a lot because it's very trivial logic, so it's kind of flawed in a way. And also our prediction method. It's only tested on larger sets of data sets. It only performs around 60 to 70% accuracy. I would love to improve that by adding a more advanced method, because I've seen that it's very fast to do this kind of computation when I'm threading everything else onto other threads. So it's very fast to do all the machine learning calculations. I could replace this with a neural network, for instance, and it would be like way better. But due to time, we just made a support vector machine, very simple. Then we have, that's pretty much our project. I would have loved to show it off more, also have improved logic so you can actually see more of what's going on. But unfortunately, I didn't get to show you guys that today due to the issues that we ran into. But this is one of the hackathon projects that I think that I'd use personally. Most of my other hackathon projects that we created usually involved hardware and machine learning, which mostly couldn't be applied 100% to real life, but we're confident that this project can. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys have a great evening and or sleep wherever you're from. And good luck to everyone.
All right.
Outstanding. Okay, great stuff. So I think that wraps up the presentations. And maybe one of you guys wants to briefly tell us what the next steps are, where people can get more information.
Super quick, George. I wanted to make one request. If you guys could link the videos, the presentation videos that are available on the website. I think I came in right at the end of the one of the repos I was actually looking at was really interesting to me. The SLP-NS, and I would really like to see that presentation video. So if you could link to them on the devcon.cash. Oh, where is that?
It's I pasted it on the Discord, and I sent George a copy. So maybe
I'm not
I'll put that in the video description, because that has all the video links.
Okay. If you guys could maybe put it on the website, I think that might be a good idea too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good to link to the spreadsheet from the website. Shamari, I'm reaching out on Slack. I'll send you a link to the spreadsheet.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Eleanor, how do things look for the voting going forward?
Hello. Yeah, I just extended the timeline to 18 hours UTC, so 8 p.m. Amsterdam time, to give a bit more time for people to vote and send tokens to each team's addresses. And then we'll be able to announce the winners.
Okay.
I have more a question for the thing that George was talking about. If we decide to continue working on these projects, what will happen with the repositories? They will stay like now and we just continue to commit to them, or we need to put them in own place, or what will happen from now?
I would recommend, you should have pushed your code to the DevCon GitHub group, but you can certainly clone it in your own personal GitHub repo and continue working on it.
Okay.
And I hope most of the groups do. There's a lot a lot of good stuff here, and it needs a little bit of polish. Particularly the name service stuff. I'd love to see all these projects. I'd love to see them continue. Like they're in the previous DevCons, there have been a lot of these projects have gotten spun out and gotten commercial backing, and so I have a feeling that's going to happen with this DevCon as well.
All right. So unless anybody wants to add anything else, I guess we'll sign off for today. Outstanding work, DevCon Cash team. Let's keep building Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah, let's keep building and join maybe the Telegram group or follow us on Twitter so that we can stay connected. This was BCH Dev Con 3, you know, BCH Dev Con 4 maybe soonish. But we have to stay in. Let's stay connected. Let's continue building this dev community that we have, and we have so much exciting things here. And let's keep this momentum going. Let's keep this energy. And thank you to everyone.
Oh, hey, there's a final question coming in from Emergent. He would like you guys to explain how to vote.
Okay, so if you have the spreadsheet, it contains each of the team's addresses, SLP addresses, and each of the sponsors were given some voting tokens. So how it's going to work is they're going to send the voting tokens to whatever teams they want to vote for, however they like to distribute the votes. And then after the voting period's done, the prizes will be airdropped via the SLP dividend calculator.
Very cool.
All right.
Yeah, so the spreadsheet, the link for the spreadsheet's in the Discord announcements channel. If anybody's wondering where that is. So that's the key.
So people with other questions should join the Discord.
Yeah, that's been the main source of information for the hackathon.
Yeah,
I think there's a link to it on the devcon.cash website.
The Discord is the best place, I think, for any questions like this. And the Telegram is more like a casual place to just stay in touch with everybody. But the Discord is obviously much more efficient for organizing these things. So definitely check the Discord. And I think it's a great point that several people made to add all the videos of all the presentation to the website. So I think that's our homework for the coming days to have all this in one nice place.
Okay, and Bitcoin Out Loud says you might want to make sure all the tokens are sent. And then Emergent asks, is there a percentage to apply to BCH versus general track?
So it turns out, this was an option that I had 2 tracks open with 1, 2, 3 prices for 2 tracks, but it turns out that all the teams have hacked on the BCH blockchain. So we had the option, and no team has competed in the general track. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I miss anyone? But that's it. We have 1 track, so we'll have 3 winners. I mean, and it's a hefty prize pool. I can just as well. I would like to. Okay, I guess this is a good moment as well to thank all our sponsors: General Protocols, Grapefruit Trading, Bitcoin.com. I'm missing right now a bunch. Fullstack.cash, obviously you, Chris. Christian, your own channel. Let's just shout out to Bitcoin Cast here. Everybody that's been supporting us, all the people that have helped us on our Flip Starter. You guys realize that this is actually a crowd-funded prize pool originally that has kept growing. So people have sent us tokens. We've received some sour, some honk, some spice. So this is all going to the hackers. So it's just like we're gonna make it rain. So just to all judges, just vote and let's yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna start doing. Yeah. Using SLP dividend calculator, right?
And here are the people who funded the Flip Starter: Georg, Grapefruit Trading, Imaginary, Richard, Emergent, Bitcoin Out Loud, Henry Cashlet, Steve, Timothy, Jonathan, Finch, Georg again, Colin,
So yeah, again, a team effort, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll take this final opportunity to just say to all the developers who participated, I'd love to stay in touch with you guys. Fullstack.cash, that's the place to reach me. There's a link to the Telegram group there. And also, if you're curious, check out the Permissionless Software Foundation, psfoundation.cash. It's a developer community, a JavaScript developer community centered around Bitcoin Cash, and we're always looking to you know, we're an open community. So anybody who wants to join, there's bounty tagged GitHub issues that you can just jump in and start coding and contributing and get rewarded for it. Yeah, if anybody wants to continue the conversation or get technical help, you can reach me at fullstack.cash.
All right, outstanding. So I think we're going to end the stream. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for inviting me to host this stream. It's a real pleasure. And let's keep building Bitcoin Cash.
Thank you, George.